Hello everybody, welcome back to Catherine's Plates. I'm Catherine. Today we have a low-carb dessert for you guys. You've been asking for them and we've been trying to put them together and get a nice low-carb one ready for you. This one is a brookie, which is the cross between a chocolate chip cookie and a brownie. And keeping it low-carb, it's going to be interesting. All right, so somewhere in this 9 ingredients is your chocolate chip cookie dough, your brownie dough, and also the brookie, which we're going to fit into an 8x8 pan. I just lined it with some parchment. We're going to start with that first. I'm going to show you how to get your parchment paper in there to look nice and pretty like that. Bring out a piece of parchment. Now I have 15 by 12. We're going to work with that size right here. So I'm going to place my pan on top of the parchment like this. I'm going to take a pair of scissors and then I'm going to cut right up to the side. I'm going to cut these off. We'll do that to each one. So we're cutting off the corners up to the pan. I'm going a little bit more. All right, I'm going to fold in the long ends here, and then we'll cut some of the short sides off there because that's pretty long. About half of that coming off. You don't need all that. There we go. No precision is needed here when you're cutting off the sides. We just don't want all of that hanging off. Bring my pan back over. I'm just going to crease it on the edges here. There we go. Now we're going to start in a medium bowl and we're going to make our cookie batter. We've got the almond flour. This cuts down the carbs in a dish tremendously. In the almond flour, there's 3 grams of carbs for 3 tablespoons. Now you got to remember that we're going to be using 1 1/3 for this right here, but we're only going to eat like 1/16 of a piece of the brookie bar. So we're good. So we're going to put 1 1/3 cup of almond flour into a medium bowl. So that'll be 4 of these right here. I'm using a 1/3 measuring cup. There we go. We'll keep that in there. Let me show you what we're working with. I have the almond flour, I have the baking soda, baking powder, butter, eggs, cocoa powder, unsweetened, vanilla extract, and then we have stevia. And oh, don't forget the chocolate chips. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 ingredients here. I forgot the cocoa when I showed y'all earlier. 9 ingredients. Now the salt will come into it if, let me show you the salt right here. The salt will come into it if you are using unsalted butter. Since I'm using salted butter, we will not be putting in salt. Now we're going to add a few dry ingredients to this. We're going to add in 1/3 cup of stevia. It's just your granulated sugar. There we go. We changed over to this when we went low carb. And then we're going to add in 1/2 teaspoon of, let me get my spoon here, baking soda. All right, let's whisk this together and blend it really well. Break up any lumps in that flour. It's that almond flour. Now you're going to want very soft butter, and we're going to use 1/4 cup, 4 tablespoons. You just want to make sure that it is very soft butter. We're done with the whisk for right now. I'm going to set that off to the side. Let's get a knife. I'm going to put it in here in tablespoons. 2, 3, and 4. It's about 1/2 stick of butter there. I'm going to grab a fork And then what you want to do is incorporate the almond flour into the butter. So we're just going to keep pressing it in until we get a nice crumb. The softer your butter, the better, but you don't want melted butter for this recipe. Now, if you want to whiz this in a food processor, you can do that too. Get it all combined. You want small little pebble size crumbs. It'll just take a few minutes. The butter is going to make little pockets of goodness in the cookie part of this recipe. Okay, look at that. That's perfect. All right, let's crack in 2 eggs. Y'all always wonder where the eggshell goes. Into my sink. 1, 2. We're going to throw half the shell over there and get that other shell out. Use the shell. It'll help. There we go. There we go. Y'all, I messed that up already. Let me get a spoon here. 1 egg goes in. That's what happens when you have too much going on. So I'm going to get some of that egg yolk out. Egg white. There we go. We'll save that for the other brownie part of the recipe. I had 2 eggs sitting there and put them both in when I didn't need to. All right, we need half a teaspoon of vanilla. All right, we're going to grab our fork. We're going to mix this together again. Things happen in the kitchen. That's what happens when you don't follow the direction. Just assume. Okay, now what we're going to do is just kind of put in 1/3 cup of chocolate chips. Now, I'm using these right here. This is a dark chocolate chip. You can even use sugar-free chocolate chips or semi-sweet chocolate chips. They just add a little bit more sugar, the semi-sweet. All right, 1/3 cup. Boop, boop. Here he is, you guys. Where was he earlier?
I was busy.
He was busy. All right, so we're going to add that and then mix them in. All right, just stir to combine. All right, let's set this aside. Let's make the brownie batter. Okay, for the brownie batter, we're going to need the almond flour again. And we're going to add in 2/3 cup. It's going to be a smaller batter. We're going to do 1/2 cup, there it is, of our stevia. There we go. We're going to do our dry ingredients first. We're going to need 1/4 cup of unsweetened cocoa powder. There we go. We got it. 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. And again, since I'm using salt in the butter, I'm not going to be putting any salt. Now, if I was using unsalted butter, then I would put about 1/8 teaspoon of salt in there. We're going to whisk that up together. It's going to be the same process. Once we get this in, we'll put in the butter, and we're only going to put in, let me go check, 3 tablespoons. 1, 2, I know y'all can count. Y'all are like, I can count. There we go, 3 in there. We'll get our fork, and we'll blend it in. Now, we have turned our channel into a low-carb channel, but there's going to be times when we make regular dishes, and there's a reason for that. For one, I'm going to be making some cakes for my son, Joseph. They're getting married, I think in March, and I want to make the groom's cake. So I got a few ideas, and I want to make them, and I want to have them try it and see, which one they want for their wedding. So I will be doing a few cakes that are not low carb, but there's a reason for that. And I might make a dish or two that's not, but those kind of dishes can be put over a carb and not eaten with a carb. So it's all good over here. All right, you guys, I got those nice little pieces here. Let's come on up and we'll add the wet ingredients. All right, we're gonna crack another egg. I'm just using a fresh egg because the other one had a whole bunch of stuff on it, and I'm not sure it was a full egg. I think some of it was left in the cookie batter. All right, we're going to mix that in. This is the only liquid. I'm going to get that mixed in. We'll add some chocolate chips, the dark chocolate ones that I have, just a very few. Oh yeah, look at that. Smells good, you guys. Thomas is super happy.
Smell like chocolate.
He likes brownies, like cookies. He loves a brookie. All right, let's add in. Let me find my chocolate chips. Okay. There we go. Mix those in, and let's build our brookie. We're going to take 2/3 of our cookie batter, and we're going to put it down into our prepared pan. That's good right there. I'm going to wet my fingers, and then we'll flatten this down to the edges. Make sure your hands are nice and clean. All right, we'll smooth that out. Wash my hands. All right, we're going to bring over the brownie mix. All right, I'm just going to dollop the brownie mix around. It'll be easier to spread out if we do that, like this right here. I'm using a throwaway pan, an 8x8, because we got a bunch of these, because when the kids get leftovers and take it home in our Tupperware, we never get it back.
No, we don't.
So now we put them in these things and give it to them. And that way we don't have to worry about it. Because we're always losing all of our dishes.
Now we got to go over there and pull them all back.
We do. All right, so what we're going to do now is just spread it out. You can use your fingers if you want, the spoon. It doesn't have to be perfect because, you know, this is a brookie. But we do want to kind of have it nice and even so it cooks. What? Nice and even. Yes. So at least every bite has a brownie in it, right? All right, now we're going to bring back the rest of that cookie dough. All right, y'all, life is short. Lick the spoon. Maybe not this with the eggs in it, but you can pretend you did. All right, so I'm just going to dollop the rest of that cookie batter around. Leave the brownie in between. That way, you know, it pops up in between the cookie batter here. People know what they're going to be eating, right? But just keep it kind of thin. I'm going to put some over here. That looks like a brookie, doesn't it? Okay, you guys, I got my oven preheated at 350 degrees. We're going to bake this for 25 to 30 minutes. We're going to allow it to cool, and then we're going to cut these into bite-sized pieces. And then we're going to give it a try for you. We've cooled it down. We actually had lunch too. So let's cut these 16 pieces and let's give it a try. All right, let's pull it out. Now we're going to cut this in half. Got a big long knife here. Kind of estimate your half. We're going to cut that in half. There we go. Oh, let's do it in half. That way we get nice even pieces, as close as you're going to get to it. There we go. Look at that, you guys. Look how fluffy that brownie is in there. All right, let's give this a try. That is light and fluffy. You would never know that you gave up that all-purpose flour for almond flour. Mmm. Duck down.
Oh, hey.
There he is. Mmm. Wow.
Oh, that's good.
Mmm. Y'all, this is a winner. Nice and scrumptious.
I love the dark chocolate.
Mmm. Mm-hmm.
I love the dark chocolate. That's good.
Y'all, this is a winner for low carb. All right. Y'all asked for a dessert. Here it is. And we're going to be doing more. That is delicious. It's nice and fluffy on both ends of this. The brownie and that cookie just balances out really nicely. All right, you guys, thumbs up on this one. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button down below and that bell notification. That way you'll always know when our low carb desserts and meals come out. Usually it's every other day. All right, you guys, I'll see you on the next episode. Bye. Mm-hmm.